everyone, hope you're well. Ben here from Pinup Media. I'm shooting a little video about a new little studio space I'm building in my new house. Please excuse this camera work if it's a bit terrible. Usually I have Matt and Rob to do things like that for me. So I'll hopefully learn some of that on the channel as we go along. But to start with, I'm going to do a quick video of this room and say how I'm going to change it moving forward to make it a bit more suitable for doing some Corona recording and mixing and other bits and bobs. So, just like everyone else in the world, I was a bit inconvenienced with this whole virus thing. I was actually probably a week or two away from finishing a brand new studio space I'd built, full rock wall, all nice, all laid out. Couldn't wait to get recording in there. And then this thing happened and I couldn't access the premises that I've been building in, so everything's on hold. But in the meantime, lucky enough, me and my partner have just bought this lovely house. It's a middle terrace, so it's not exactly ideal for any crazy recording, so I won't be doing anything like drums or anything stupidly loud. However, I might go a bit mad if I don't have a space to do something in. So I've been given this little spare room, which I'm going to change and make my own. And in one trip to the other studio space, I grabbed everything I could fit in one estate car. It was a bit like picking between your children which gear I needed. So I might have gone a bit mad on some things and not bought other things I should have needed. But I've got a decent amount to have a nice little home studio. And I thought it'd be a cool series to sort of link in with what a lot of people are relating to now. Like how can you be creative from home, the sort of challenges we face, and using some of my knowledge, what knowledge I have, to maybe help some of you guys get some better recordings. So first, I'll give you a little bit of a tour around the room and show you what I'm working with from the start. So as we walked in, I chose this room because it's quite small, which is what my partner liked, me being tucked away in here instead of ruining a big room. And also I thought the light was really nice. Now windows aren't exactly perfect for anything, sound-wise, but I find they do help keep you sane. And a lot of the work I'm going to be doing in here is going to be headphone based. So why not have a nice view while I'm doing it? Just a little bit of a tour of some of the furniture and stuff. This basically was a kid's room, so everything, we've got a lot of fitted units that were designed for like a little small single bed to go down here, which obviously isn't ideal for what I want, being a grown man and having a double bed of my own, luckily. So I'll just give you a little bit of a view from the other side. So as you can see, it's a pretty small room. It's not tiny, it's sort of rectangular, which I think is representative of a lot of spaces people probably use. And as you might hear on this camera footage, it's pretty reflective and a little bit awful at the minute. So we're going to see as I go along with this series how much I want to do about that. I don't really want to turn it into a complete recording space as such, but I might see if I can do some little bits of treatment depending on how bored I get and how long this whole thing lasts for. So next I'll just show you some of the gear I decided to bring. Matt and Rob will be telling me off here for just filming rubbish things like walls. So on the desk, first off, I've got my trusty Yamaha HS7s. I've been looking at upgrading these for quite a long time, to be honest, but I do know them and they do a job, and they're not massive speakers, so they're plenty loud enough, particularly for in a room like this. As I say, I'm going to be doing a lot of my work on headphones, which I think relates to a lot of people, but yeah, they're here. Then next, we've got my trusty desk. This is Presonus Studio Live Series 3 24. Now, I bought this a while ago. It's kind of a bit of a jack of all trades, and some people sort of laugh at me when I tell them I've got it, and they're like, why didn't you get a universal audio or something a bit more high standard? It's not a cheap unit by any means, but as I say, it's a bit of a jack of all trades, and I mainly got it. I do a lot of live full band stuff, and I wanted something I could use if I ever did a gig I wanted to record, which happens occasionally, and hopefully more of that going forward with Pinup Media. And also, really, it's great. You sort of have 8 headphone mixes. I have a stage loom that completely matches this, so I can put loads of mics everywhere, and that's kind of what I'm about. And then we've got that running through this simple Mackie passive control, which allows me to toggle between a couple of sets of monitors and has useful dim and mute and stuff. I'm gonna mix things up and get a bit of angles with my face in now as well. It might look more, well, I don't want to say interesting, if that's the right term. So the next thing I bought, as a lot of you know, if you record, well, this internet, not a lot of you know, I love recording guitars and stuff. Where I get a lot of my effects, I try and actually use effects pedals. I find it's really inspiring when you're working with guitar-based bands, or even bands that aren't guitar-based who want something to experiment with, really. So that's the main thing I kind of grabbed when I ran out of this band room in this sort of you know, end of world scenario of what gear I was going to pack. So down here we have all these pedals, so I'll get close up on them for you. We've got a bit of a classic Jack White thing on the end here, so we've got a Digitech Whammy, which I've had a few of these. This is the latest version, the other one's broke from me abusing them a bit. Got the classic Big Muff, which is my first ever guitar pedal, which I still absolutely love. We've got a wah pedal, a Fret King one, with an old capacitor in, that I've never really used that much and never got on with, but I thought I'd bring it to experiment with. Then we've got a load of more electro-harmonic stuff. This is like an amp simulator, which I use at a lot of gigs where I can't take an amplifier. So I think that might be great to use in this lockdown, exploring how we can get tones without cranking an amp. Got a Cathedral, which is really cool to play around with. Again, I might try and do some videos on these things. A Pog, a booster, a chorus, a DD6, you know, some overdrive pedals, a really cool vintage Dan Electro tape echo, a Big Muff clone, some reverbs, loads of toys basically. I've sort of, I don't know why I bothered doing this, 'cause I'm going to destroy this unit in a minute. Got all my power stuff in there. Hello leads. And moving on, I mean, I know I just said that about electro-harmonics pedals and not getting too loud. I probably chose the most stupid amplifier anyone could choose to bring a lockdown situation. I don't really own any small amps like appropriate for this sort of thing. So what I bought is an obnoxiously loud Fender Twin. So this is a 90s thing. I picked it up for an absolute bargain with its knackered snakes, and I think I got it for about 200 quid on Facebook, which I'm buzzed about. It's just a stupidly loud, clean amp. I mainly bought it because it was my combo, and to be honest, I feel like since I've bought it, I've maybe not played it as much as I'd like to play it. So instead of bringing my 412 Marshall, this is my smallest amp, despite weighing an absolute ton if everyone's ever picked one up. They're absolutely stupid. And to match that stupidity, I've got a 500 watt Fender Bassman head. I'm not going to be running this through a cab or anything. The reason I bought this is my partner plays bass and we want to do some more jamming together. And yeah, so I bought that because I can run a DI signal out the back of it, and it's just a really cool little amp. So a bit more boringly, I've bought myself 3 mic stands. Again, I'm sort of limiting myself. I'm not going to record anything too crazy in here, but hopefully that'll help me do some vocals, maybe some guitar stuff. And then I've got a reflection filter. Now, interesting, I don't really rate reflection filters. I think they make vocals and other things sound a bit weird and boxed in. But as I'm in a completely untreated room with shiny, awful walls and stuff and a big window, that might be something I'll look into maybe do a video on as well. Finally, a bit more interesting, these are the guitars I've got so far. So this is a little Ibanez acoustic. This is hard to film like this. It's like an Artwood acoustic. I might do a video on this. I managed to pick it up for £100 second hand, which I was very happy with because it's all solid wood and has a lot of things that I look for in an acoustic guitar, and it's already made it onto a lot of recordings I've done for artists who've maybe bought something that isn't quite up to scratch, and you know, people really like that, so I might do a video on that. This is my ancient, there's a lot of Ibanez loving in this. This is my ancient 80s Ibanez Blazer bass, which technically, oh look at that for some camera work, yeah, technically belongs to my brother, which he always reminds me of. It's just a really solid instrument. Again, I bought that for my partner to jam along with, and I also bought her kindly her bass, which I've stolen for like several years, a little Mikey Way Squire signature bass, a little short scale thing, which is set up a bit terribly, but I thought she might appreciate having it back. And finally, to show you guys, these are the mics I've bought. Way too many mics for what I'm doing, but they're obviously in 2 handy cases. So I sort of divide my mics between dynamic things and condenser things. Now, all my mics, I've been doing this a little while now, a few years, trying to make a go at making a living out of recording. And I do a lot of full band stuff, which means a lot of microphones. However, everything I've got, I don't have anything crazy expensive. I don't have anything particularly vintage or unusual. Probably the most expensive mics I have are this Aston Spirit, which is an amazing mic, particularly for people who are sort of recording in this sort of environment as well. Great for vocals. I've got Trusty Shore SM7B, loads of 57s and 58s, and then just things for drums really. So despite the fact there's been way too many mics for a usual home setup, I'm hoping maybe I can look through some of these, give some people some tips on what might work in a home setting and how to sort of use them and where to position these mics to get the sort of best recordings you can. And last but not least in here, we've got a trusty pair of Beyerdynamic DT 770 Pros. I always say people when they ask me what headphones to get, these are an amazing set if you're trying to do some recording, just really high quality. You see them on pretty much most industry standard live sessions and things like that. And for my mixing, I'm mainly going to be using speakers if we can sort something out in here to make it sound vaguely okay. And I've got a nice pair of Sennheiser something or others, which are a really nice pair of headphones at a couple £100. So that is my little room. Turn this round. I hope that's okay as an intro video, and hopefully as we go on I'm going to get better at doing videos by learning from Matt and Rob. I'm going to have a little setup here where I can work on doing other stuff, and hopefully with the small knowledge I have I might be able to show you guys something that's useful. So now I might see if I can do a time lapse of destroying these terrible wardrobes. And then in a couple of weeks I'm getting a really nice studio desk delivered, which I'm going to put in the proper studio when we're all out of this, but it just about fits in here. And we're going to get my desk set up on it, and I'll probably do a bit of a routing video. And then we'll go from there and try and do some tutorials on recording, and probably see if I can record some of my own songs, which is something I've not really ever done. So thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed the other videos that are out. And yeah, see you around.